For more on the legal ramifications that might be gleaned from these 121 words, we turn now to Nixon White House counsel John Dean, author of Broken Government, How Republican Rule Destroyed the Legislative, Executive, and Judicial Branches. As always, John, great thanks for your time tonight.
Good evening, Keith.
Is what Mr. McClellan describes, hints at in this excerpt, could this be the framework of criminal conspiracy in the White House? Is there the possibility here that President Bush took part in a cover-up?
Well, it is pregnant with that possibility, clearly. What you have here is what was conspicuously absent from Fitzgerald's investigation, or certainly anything in the indictments, was a conspiracy. And there is a very clear statute, 371 of the Criminal Code, that says that two or more people get together to defraud the government. And this is a very sort of thing that could be defrauding the government by denying honest information to the government, that indeed is a very serious felony. So there indeed is the suggestion here.
Can Fitzgerald reopen, or can somebody else reopen on his behalf, or is there a way for the White House to quash that?
Well, I understand his investigation is ongoing, that he has never formally closed it, that he hasn't said that it's over, and he would probably have to impanel a new grand jury, but it certainly doesn't mean if he thinks he's been deceived, and if he thinks there's been an offense and a conspiracy that has been, he's been somehow eluded from learning the true facts, I think he'd go for it.
Have you had any success in finding precision in this excerpt? Scott McClellan has previously said he and Bush were misled in the same way. And we just heard what David Schuster was reporting about the White House reaction tonight. Dana Perino said this. The publisher has said this. Does that mean Bush was not there for the origin of the lie, but Cheney was, or Rove, or Libby, or Andy Card? Is there anything specific in this?
Well, there's very little that's specific in this. I actually thought about calling the publisher today. He's a very able publisher, Peter Osnos at Public Affairs, good journalist. He knows exactly what he's doing. But if he says there's not much more, and that's the indication, I think that's maybe why they put this out as a good tease to get bookstores interested in the book.
Is there a straight line, do you think, or does this give us any better suggestion or throw any better light on whether or not there is a straight line from the lie to McClellan, or whoever originated that, and Libby's lies to the grand jury?
Well, I think David Schuster put it very well, that indeed there has been an implication of that line all along, and it's a question of whether what he adds next in this very pregnant clause or few paragraphs he's put out in the book. It could well be a direct line. We just don't know at this point.
But to that point, David Gregory reporting earlier tonight from the White House that there's not going to be a retraction from McClellan, but it's also unlikely that the revelations would go any further. The phrase was the former press secretary is not going to be taking a hatchet to the president. Is it nonetheless with this time for the House Judiciary Committee to hold some sort of hearing and call Mr. McClellan as a witness and ask him publicly, what did you know? When did you know it? Not to mention, what did the president know and when did he know it?
Well, if the situation were reversed and the Republicans were in control, you can be sure they would be running something like this down from the Clinton administration. But I don't know why that the Judiciary Committee couldn't make at least first an informal inquiry of McClellan's counsel. If they get stiff-armed, just subpoena the manuscript and bring it in and decide whether it should go further. And I would be surprised if Conyers doesn't do something like that, or Pat Leahy in the Senate.
Does this whole story here call the Libby commutation into question because of the point that I raised earlier that whoever started these lies, the lies to McClellan and the lies to the grand jury by Libby, were on the same material, and here is a guy saying, I got this from within the White House. Is there the possibility that a commutation can be overridden in some way if a president were found to have been doing that for the purpose of protecting himself, or is the only avenue against him impeachment?
Keith, this is about as plenary of power as a president has is the power to pardon. A lot of P's in there. But anyway, there's little that can be done after a president issues a pardon, and it's really not reviewable by anybody. It's not subject to revocation, so it's a fact. It's going to stand.
Last point, John, is there something in this for the Wilsons, for Joe and Valerie Plame Wilson, to add the president to the civil suit that they had filed against Rove and Libby et al., and might that be the route by which we finally get the absolute truth in this thing?
That's a thin possibility. The case was dismissed on a jurisdictional base, that the people involved were all immunized. Judge Bates said that even lying didn't seem to trouble him, that they were acting beyond their scope of employment. We just don't know what this leads to, and it could well give them another opening.
John Dean, White House legal counsel under Richard Nixon, author of Broken Government. Great, thanks for your insight on this one, John.
Thank you, Keith.